Hi out there. It's been a while since I posted anything on YouTube, but there were several reasons for that, and the main being that all my emails, my Skype, everything was hacked, and trying to get back onto YouTube was a real problem. But I'm back now, and so I want to go into a little video here explaining the difference between the law and the legal systems. So something can be unlawful or illegal, and I see the illegal as a sick bird. So let's dive into the presentation now and look what law means from Bouviers' online law dictionary. Now, I like to use Bouviers' online dictionary when I'm doing these presentations because everyone has access to it. And so all you need to do is go online and you can get the Law Dictionary, and you can see this for yourself, exactly what I'm going to be reading out here. And I do encourage you to do your own study, because the more people doing the study, the more things that we will uncover, because everyone thinks quite differently. So please feel free to go online and look for these things. Don't take my word for anything. So law is generally divided into four principal classes, namely natural law, the law of nations, public law, private or civil law. Okay, so you can see law is not a very simple subject. It gets quite complicated. When considered in relation to its origin, it is statute law or common law. Now, straight away here, we can see that there is a separation between the common law and the statute law, and we're going to dig deeper into this, but I do want you to focus that there is a difference between common law and statute law. When examined as to its different systems, it is divided into civil law, common law, and canon law. Now, the lawyers, when they come out of university, they have an LLB. Now, not many of them know what the LLB stands for, but the LB is the Bachelor of Law, and the L before it is the canon law. So they get 2 degrees. They get a law of canon law, and they get the Bachelor of Law. But the canon law, they only do about 2 hours study to get their canon law degree. But it's very important that the common law is where our remedy lies. So keep that in mind. Now, when applied to objects, it is civil, criminal, or penal. Okay, objects. Now, we're going to dive into objects a little bit later, but objects are trusts, corporations, and things like that. Okay, so if it's an object, if it's a trust or anything like that, it's civil, criminal, or penal. And most people are thinking, but hold on, don't we get done under the criminal or penal laws? We'll cover that as well. It is also divided into natural law and positive law, written law, etc. So when considered as to their duration, laws are mutable and arbitrary or positive, when as their effect they are prospective and retrospective. These will be separately considered. Okay, so the law gets very, very complicated, but we're going to try and show you it's not that complicated. Okay, so now we'll switch from law to legal. Now, this is a private company called the Law Society, and they have a system that they call the legal system. Now, we're looking here at Merriam-Webster's dictionary. You can get that online. The full definition of legal, the first part is of or relating to law. So it's not law. Legal is not law, but it is related to law. In other words, it derives its authority from or is founded on law, having a formal status derived from law, often without a basis in actual fact. Starting to uncover it here, aren't we? Now, titular, that's the title of the trust. So A corporation is a legal but not a real person. And now we're going to cover that just a little bit later. So they're going to be looking for titles. And that's how they operate under in the legal system, is on a title with a corporation. And it's established by law, but by statutory law. Conforming to or permitted by law or established rules, recognized or made effective by a court of law as distinguished from a court of equity, of, relating to, or having the characteristics of the profession of law or one of its members. It's not the profession of law, it's the legal profession. Created by the constructions of the law, a legal fiction. Okay, so it's not real. I'll show you what constructions is here. Constructive, that which is interpreted. It's only interpreted as being of the law. The commission of crimes is when a party is not actually present, an eyewitness to its commission, but acting with others, watching while others commit the crime. Okay, now there are two parties here. We've already seen there's a lawful and there's a legal side. Okay, the lawful side is the living, that's us. The legal side, and the part that they operate under, is that when we're conceived in the womb, the little tadpole goes in there and fertilizes the egg. The placenta attaches to the wall of the uterus and gives a blood supply to us. Okay, so we're twins in the womb. We have a placenta and we have a growing or living person starting to develop. So we are twins. And the Bible goes into this about stealing the birthright and that. And this is what they're on about, is that when we get born, we take the breath of life, but the placenta dies. And this is the part that is registered, and they form a trust of the dead person. So it's a deceased estate, and that trust is registered. Now, unwittingly, we go and claim that trust. And so all through our life, we act as trustees for that. Now, we've got to stop that. So have you noticed that there are two systems side by side? One lawful, this is the living where our remedy lies, and the other is legal. This is their playing field, and we need to stay off their playing field. The legal profession would have us believe that there is only one system and will try to drag us into their system. I'm going to show you how that's done. What system do we want? We want the lawful side, as that's where our remedy is. It's the private side of the ledger. The legal system is also a private system, but you must be a member of the bar to access their system. They're a private system, and they're actually pirates. They have the right to, or they have commissions to act under their legal system to rob us blind. So let's dive a little deeper. It's operated by the law system. It's exclusive to its members. It uses statute, not law. Members use force and trickery to entrap us. Now let's look at statute. Promulgation, from late Latin, a law decree, not law, but a law decree. Use of neuter, past particle of Latin, enact, establish from status, condition, or position. Okay, now that is from Etymology Online. So have a look at that. Lawful, on the other hand, laws pertain to the natural order of things. So when we look at gravity or watching plants grow in the spring, that is the natural laws, the law of nature. One of the other laws is do unto others. Now, we know that if we harm someone, that we deserve it back. So to stay within the law, we must not harm others. Maxims and rules that developed in the common law courts, these are all lawful. This is do unto others. So these maxims are set down in law, And if we follow those, the courts must obey those maxims lawfully. Okay, I can see some of you still still a bit confused there. So let's do the mirror test and see what happens. Legal or statute law is like looking into a mirror. Look in a mirror and raise your right hand. The reflection in the mirror is your left hand is up. So the legal or statute law looks like law, but it's a reflection of the law, so it's not real. If you can ever think of anything, this will remind you legal or statute is not real. Our remedy is contained in the old imperial enactments, but if we do not know our rights, then we have none. Now, I've looked at this act many times. Now, this act, that is the full act, not like some of the war and peace novels that we get out of Parliament these days. This is the whole act. 1, 2, 3, 4 lines. Okay, but there is so much contained in the statute, and most people just overlook it. The first part of it, for the maintaining of peace and justice. If we do not come in peace, then we will not get justice. Okay, so if anyone sends you a letter or anything like that, you must not go into argument. You must be at peace with them, so you must thank them for their kind invitation. Otherwise, you will not get justice. So thank them for anything you get. That's the first part of coming in peace. Thank you kindly for your offer, which I politely decline. Then the first line of the act says, first the king willeth and commandeth that the peace of the holy church and of the land. So let's look a little bit further into what that means. Everything is done by our will, and they cannot override our will. Absolutely impossible. They know that, so it is my will. They must abide by it. Politicians, judges, anyone must abide by your rule. But how do we get them to do that? The first thing is you must come in peace. So if you're being if you're not being polite and coming in peace, you can't get justice. To ensure our will is obeyed, we must command them, as they are our servants when we know the system. So I'm trying to help you to understand how the system operates, and if you do this correctly, which I'll show you shortly, then they become our servants. Okay, so here, if you have a look up the top left there, this is our court, Ministry of Justice, New Zealand. I'll show you the date, 29th of January 2016. What's significant about this? It will be revealed on the next page, but we need to look at this. Courts have a wide variety of roles, including enforcing the criminal law, resolving civil disputes. Oh, here we go. Upholding the rights of individuals, ensuring that government agencies stay within the law, and explaining the law. Now, in February this year, I lodged some documents in the court, and when I asked the registrar a question, she, in a very brusque voice, said, "I cannot give legal advice." And I said, "I thought you might say that." So I've brought a copy of your website down. I'm pleased I did keep this copy because it's the only one in existence unless you go way back. If you're a computer expert, you can go on to Wayback and find it. But as soon as I said to her, I believe you have to uphold the rights of individuals, you have to stay within the law, and you must explain the law, she changed. And she became meek and mild because I had commanded her to stay within the law and explain the law to me. What a difference. She then lodged my documents. Thank you to her. Now, I was explaining this to someone in September, and as you can see the date there, the 3rd of September 2016, the whole website changed, and you cannot get that document now from that website that I have just shown you. So you need to get a screenshot of that. Okay, the last part of the Statutes of Westminster is that be well kept and maintained in all points, and that common right be done to all, as well as poor as rich, without respect of persons. Common right is our common law rights. Now, they like to trick us with all sorts of different things and usage over time. Some things quickly get forgotten. Now, one of the things when you arrive in a country, the first thing they do is put you through customs. Now, I inadvertently discovered what customs is. Customs is our customary rights. Now, they ask you, have you anything to declare? And unless you declare your customary rights, you'll do what all the other sheep do. You'll fill out the forms and say, oh, I'm declaring this and I'm declaring that, and I've got some cigarettes, I'm declaring them, and I've got some alcohol and I'll declare that. Instead of declaring that you're upholding your common law rights, your customary rights. Okay, so common right is our common law. Now, the other part is without respect of person. Now, I already explained that the trust that was set up on our behalf or on someone's behalf for the person that died is actually a person, and so that trust is a person. So this word is applied to men, women, and children who are called natural persons. In law, man and person are not exactly synonymous terms. They're telling us here, this is Bouviers once again, folks. In law, man and person are not exactly synonymous terms. Any human being is a man, whether he be a member of society. There they're telling you, member of society or not. We are not members of their society, folks, but they tell us, they give us the clues all the way through here. If we go down to number 2, the last bit there, it is also used to denote a corporation, which is an artificial person. So they're telling us that we are not that corporation, but we go into courts and things claiming to be that person when we are not. Okay, go to the Bible. Now, there's 14 different parts. I didn't put them all up here, but here's just a few. Not respect the person. Not respect the person. Not respect the person. This is their law book, and they're telling you we must not respect persons. Do your own search. Go into Bible Online, and you'll find there's 14 there. But you must not respect the person, because if you respect the person, then you are going into the legal system, not the lawful system. So you must stay in the lawful system. So let's move on to Bouviers again. To personate. There's a lot on person in Bouviers. Have a look. I'm only putting up a little bit of it here. But to personate, in criminal law, the act of assuming the character of another. Oh, isn't that what we do when we go to the courts? We assume the character of another without lawful authority, and in such character doing something to his prejudice or to the prejudice of another. We're only harming ourselves without his will or consent. Okay? They're telling us there exactly what is happening. The bare fact of personating another for the purpose of fraud is no more than a cheat or misdemeanor at common law and punishable as such. By the Act of Congress 30th of April 1790, it is enacted that if any person shall acknowledge or procure to be acknowledged in any court of the United States any recognizance, bail or judgment in the name or names of any other person or persons not privy or consenting to the same, such person or persons on conviction thereof shall be fined not exceeding $5,000. Now, we can get relief under that because that is what they are doing. They are tricking us into believing that we are that person when we're not. And the old maxim, the appearance of the body corrects the flaw in the name. So we go in as trustee for that corporation. Okay, just winding it up now, guys. In summary, do not sign anything. Do not consent to anything until we have obtained lawful advice. Remember, they will try and trick us into getting legal advice, but we don't want legal advice. We want lawful advice, and when we do, or if we command them lawfully and tell them that it is our will, then they have no authority over the living man whatsoever. Hope this has been helpful.